Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be working on some housekeeping maintenance projects back here at the high tunnels. We've got some onions that are ready for storage, so we're going to clean them, get them in their crates, and put them in the root cellar. We've got some heirloom mum plants that I bought last year, and I just haven't done anything with them yet, and I don't really have a designated spot for them. So what I would like to do is go through and save my most favorite varieties, and I'm going to have to look some of them back up to see what they look like. Most of these bloomed last year, so I know, at least I've seen the blooms in person, so I know the ones I'll want to keep, and then I have a couple friends that will take the rest. And then we've got some blueberries in galvanized tubs that we're going to take down to the garden center. So those are the tubs right there. I have tried blueberries in these for a number of years, and I've had a couple of successful years, but mostly it's a struggle. And I'm just kind of done. The galvanized tubs don't really fit in with our landscape anymore. They're just sitting back here. So I asked my mom, like, hey, do you want these galvanized tubs to maybe plant up real pretty down at the garden center? I just don't have at this point, a use for them. And she said she would love to have them and just to leave the blueberries in them. So we're just gonna take them down there full. So you can see what they look like right here. I think I probably should have popped them somewhere more protected than they are right now. Blueberries in the right climate like full sun, but in our area, I do think that they benefit from a little bit of a break in the afternoon or like the late afternoon, that really hot sun. Also, they need it way more acidic than we can give it. And while I can control the soil that goes in here, I can't control really the alkalinity of our water. And it's just like we're constantly pumping high alkaline stuff to them. And it's a struggle. And I just don't think it's worth the space to try that anymore. I still have some blueberries in pots up in the raised bed garden, kind of looking the same as these though. So that's the plan for these, and I'm happy to give them a new life down at the garden center. Right here, all of our heirloom mum plants, they're doing it, but they're not loving it in these containers. So I think getting them just gone through and planted out in the ground, I'm not expecting a tremendous amount out of them this year, but next year will be their year. But it'll be nice just to have this area cleared as well. I also thought you might enjoy just a walkthrough of the plant stash at the moment. One of you guys asked about that. Like, what does it look like this time of year? And while it's wildly different from, one week to the next, really, I'll just show you what it looks like here at the beginning of August. After we go to the garden center with those tubs though, we'll probably have a few more things to add. But some of the stuff here we've wintered over from last year. Some of it has come out of containers and just hasn't been planted out in the landscape yet. Some of the things we got early this spring, some later on. In fact, this whole shrub load we just got in this past week and we already walked through that, so I will spare you that. You've already seen this. And you can see there's already holes. We've already moved some of them out into the landscape. But just starting right out here, we'll just run through real quick, and I probably won't go through a bunch of stats. I'll just show you kind of an overview of what's here. We've got a couple of weeping Alaskan cedars, one of which I know exactly where it's gonna go. This one we're just gonna tuck in. We have a Green Mountain cone boxwood that I got last year. And we had one extra. We planted the 4 boxwoods in the pots around the brick patio. And where else did we plant any big ones? I think just there. Anyway, I had this extra one. One of them actually doesn't look that great. And so when we do our fall swap for plants, the annual plants, I might swap that one out for this one. It's kind of nice to have a backup. I also have a backup Julia Child standard rose that I ordered when we got the 2 extra this spring. We have 2 planted on one end of the Hartley, and then this spring I wanted to add 2 on the other end of the Hartley, and I thought, hopefully it's not our last opportunity to get this size of rose tree, but I've never seen rose trees this big and beautiful from a grower. So I ordered 1 extra that we could plant out somewhere. I actually think I might even just put this in a bigger pot and carry it over in the high tunnel so it's a little more protected in case we lose one of those by the Hartley. These are the 2 Royal Frost birch trees we recently picked up. And I think I brought you guys along for that shopping trip. And then in this high tunnel, boy, it looks so different in here than it did when it was full of annuals. But we've got some really gorgeous evergreens in here. There's some tater tot arborvitaes, Celtic Pride, Siberian cypress, a ton of firelight hydrangeas, which are gonna be utilized up by our entryway. We started to lay that out together, all of us, the other day. And I think Erin and I've had some clarity. We're still gonna use these. And the boxwoods up there, but we were trying to decide on a evergreen backdrop, because once the hydrangeas lose their leaves, they need to have something back behind them so it's not just open the whole winter, if that makes sense. There needs to be something for you to rest your eye on and to still create that hedge backdrop. So we're going to add something in for that. This is a Midnight Express Redbud, which don't judge it by what it looks like now. We bought it in the middle of summer and it had to ride the interstate from Boise all the way over here. And then it proceeded to be blown over about 100 times outside. We finally put it in here. kind of exasperated with it. We'll get that planted here soon. And here's what the leaves are supposed to look like right there. There it is. That's what it looked like when we bought it. And that's what it'll look like next year. Okay, moving on. We've got some Veronica. You can see all of these perennials really just need a shear back at this point. We have the pink potion Veronica, white wands Veronica, just waiting for their turn to be planted. These are a Stokes Aster. It's called Totally Stoked Whitecaps. It's a new one. And then a Nepeta called Catwalk Queen. Then we've got some ornamental grasses here, all of which were carried over from last year. We've got Desert Plains Pennisetum. These are the Lemon Squeeze Pennisetum. Aren't these awesome seed heads? They are so gorgeous. I kind of thought maybe I should hang on to these and pop them into some fall containers. We've got some Panicum. Which is this? Is this the Cheyenne Sky? Then right behind us, we've got a bunch of onions we're going to be working with today. You can see that most of them, all the stalks are dried up. Of course, we have added a few, like there's a few that still have some green. So we'll just pick through and clean the ones that are ready. This table is candy. This little bunch is what we've harvested of our Walla Wallas so far and what we've harvested of our yellow sweet Spanish onions. I've got a couple of Super Bells. These are the new ones from last year. I think these are the last little bunch of annuals I've held on to. This is the Magic Double Grapefruit, and they're so beautiful. And usually I farm out any extra annuals that we have just with friends or family. But these I thought might be fun in a like late summer, fall sort of arrangement. They've got the right color tones. These are a Delta called Silver River, and they're kind of like a succulent. And I want to try wintering a couple over to see how they do. And then we've got a Cornus. This is a Cornelian Cherry Cornus Mask, Saffron Sentinel. I bought it when it was in bloom this spring, and then it's proceeded to look like this, which I don't know if I really want this look out in the landscape. Like, is this typical? They're kind of curled. They don't have any bugs. Usually when they're curled, I look for woolly aphids, but there's nothing like that. And it's pretty much looked like this since the moment it leafed out. So, but it was so gorgeous when it bloomed. We might just hang on to it and see what it looks like next year. Maybe it's just like stressed. I don't know. Anyway. Okay, we'll move to this side. We've got some Winter Gem Boxwoods and one Green Velvet. We've got a couple of Boston Ivy. We've got some of the Neat Ball Boxwood. These were sent like early summer from Prairie Winter's Color Choice. We've got a Quickfire Fab Hydrangea, 2 Black Lace Elderberry, which I want to pop out in the Dirtlands. And then these right here, these Heuchera came out of our fall containers. Our fall containers from last year. I planted these in the portico area with some red and purple pansies. I was kind of going for like the jewel tone look, and it was just really pretty, and they wintered over beautifully in the high tunnel. They looked gorgeous all winter, and still they have no soil around the roots. They were just pulled out of the pots when the pansies and stuff were cleaned out because pansies had aphids. Anyway, they're just like chilling. They need to be groomed, but they're fine. And then we've got a few roses. This is Heavenly Scent right here. This one is the Grand Dame right there. And then we've got one called Sweet Mademoiselle. Those are the pots the Heuchera came out of. This is another goal. We need to clean up this stuff right here. We save most of our trays because they come in very handy. Okay, second high tunnel here. More shrub-centric in here. We've got one of the, what is this? Fairy Trail Green hydrangeas. We use the other two in the portico. We picked up this, what is it called again? A Tupelo something? Anyway, we picked this up at Idaho Oasis. Here's the tag. Zydeco Twist. Anyway, I was wanting to pot this and maybe pop it by the Dream Stream. Just haven't gotten there yet. I've got some pots coming. So hopefully we get some that are the right size for this one. That's kind of what I've been waiting on. We've got a few hydrangeas in here. This one is, I think these were all Fairy Trails. Fairy Trail White, which I like the blooms on this one quite a lot. They're big, they're gorgeous. Same thing right there. This might be Fairy Trail Fresco. They come out a little bit more pink. Yep, these are Fairy Trail Frescos. Then we've got some hostas that are Chance Encounter is the name. They kind of look like this when we got them. These were a midsummer delivery, but they've got some nice fresh growth up top. These are a smaller one, 12 to 16 inches. Oh, but they spread out 42 inches, my goodness. Then we've got some calla lilies, which I'm going to cut back. They've had a lot of overhead water. You can see that. They get a lot of residue from that, a lot of buildup. So I want to cut those back and put them in the greenhouse. they usually make for really good house plants. Or, you know, if you've got a little bit more of a warm area, they winter over beautifully. We've got more of the summerific, berry awesome hibiscus right here. And then we've got some baptisia, which don't look awesome. I need to cut these back. I have an issue with baptisia, some varieties, not others. Like we have lemon meringue, I think is what it's called. They still look beautiful, very fresh, but I've got like blue bubbly, and then this one's dark chocolate that seem to want to like fizzle up and go away in the middle of summer. And there's new growth coming out at the base of these, but the top foliage just doesn't look very good. And a lot of the stuff, especially if we've had it since the beginning of the season or last year, looks really tired in here by this point of the year. We've got some wire vine that I held on to so we could use it for possible fall containers. These are the Kodiak Red 2.0 Durvellas right here in bloom, looking beautiful. You can see what the new growth looks like, the color. We've got a just random Midnight Velvet sedum here. We've also got some of the Stay Classy. These are the smaller growing sand cherries. They stay like 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, I want to say. Our hanging baskets are just like kind of hanging in there. Not doing a tremendous amount. Those are the Surefire Cascade Red begonias. These in here kind of wanted to like melt a little bit. They're doing okay now. Something I've noticed on this one that I don't on the white or the pink is that I have the urge to deadhead it. And maybe it's because it's right at eye level, but I don't feel like this one hides its old blooms quite as nicely, which is strange. I would assume that I'd feel that way more about the white variety than I would about a red. But this is the new Lobelia. It's an improved white knight. Not pretty. And then we have a rock and blue suede shoe salvia in this pot. We put it in with some James Britannia and Super Bells, but I think the Super Bells and James Britannia need less water than the salvia does. But the hummingbirds love this plant. They visit it a lot. We've got a couple of sting arbs that we picked up at the garden center not long ago. And then our miniature trees here. And I just decided to leave them in here because we kept having, oh, look right there. Look at the hummingbird, like kind of on cue. Oh my word. But I decided to leave these trees in here because we kept having such strong windstorms, especially for our grapes. I even need to stake that one a little bit more again. But we've got our miniature nectarine, our miniature peach, and then our grape trees, which are doing beautifully. I think I just showed them to you when we got the new shrub load in. Look at these clusters of grapes. My goodness. I think I need to probably cut more of the clusters off because we're getting a little heavy here. But look at that. They're doing great. And then we have, these are a bush cherry called Easy as Pie, I think is what they are. They're a tart cherry. So they're more for like preserves and pies and things like that, but they're a shrub form instead of a tree, which is great. We've caught a couple of Taste of Heaven blackberries, which poor things in their pots. Look at this little itty bitty thing. I need to get these out. Our blackberry bed is full, so I've got to figure out a spot where I want those. And then we've got more of the Kodiak. I think these are the spiced Durvella, which we planted recently, some of them. And then these are the Kodiak Black. And then more of the Mr. Smooth Seedless Silver Thorns. And this time of year, this is kind of what we like to see. Empty. I mean, somewhat. You don't want to have such a backstock that things are going to be in here because it gets hotter in here. Things aren't as happy in containers. It's harder to keep them happy. We kind of like to see it at least halfway cleared out. I mean, I need to, for what we do every day, I need to have backstock and I need to have things kind of waiting for projects and that sort of business. And we're kind of in an area, I think this would be anybody though, where you want to stock up when you have the opportunity to get shrubs in or to get perennials. You get a lot more than you could use even in that week. And you just need a place to carry them over until you can use them because shipments aren't coming our way all the time. So you just kind of want to prepare. But this time of year, you don't want to have a full house, that's for sure. We also have some green tower boxwoods, which are in timeout over there because they got spider mites. Always dealing with that somewhere. Anyway, I think what we should start with probably are the mums. While it's still really nice out here this morning, I'm just gonna get my kneeling pad out. I'm just gonna look through the mums. We're going to create a pile in the back of the gator of the ones that I'd like to keep. And then I'll send out a text to friends and let them know that the rest are ready. But I'll go through the varieties that we decide to keep once I've got it all done. Okay, here we go. Some of them are labeled and some of them aren't. I'm just hoping they're all labeled properly. You know how that goes. Peach centerpiece, definitely one I would want to save. Fairweather salmon, yes. French vanilla, yes. Okay, well, start putting them in the gator. Oof, these look sketch. Some of them. Yellow moon. Powder puff. All right, made it through those. Oh, it feels good to have done that. That's been kind of weighing on me for the last little bit. I decided to keep 8 varieties, and these are the ones I'm going to let go. And sometimes I found that's the best decision. Just let them go. And when you're talking plants, there's always somebody you can find who would love to have them in their garden, and these will be thoroughly enjoyed. And that makes me almost more happy than trying to find spots for them in my own space. So let's run through the 8 varieties I did decide to keep. And I felt like all of these would fit in no matter where I put them color-wise. So there are 3 chiffon. You can see a little bit of color here, just kind of that white with the creamy, buttery yellow in the center. There are 6 fairweather salmon. There are 4 peach centerpiece. It's interesting to see their different growth habits, isn't it? Like you could definitely tell the different groupings of mums here. And even though I love the colors of all of them, I mean, I ordered them for a reason, there are some of these that I'm just like, they just grow really tall. And you can tell just based on their growth habit, they grow tall, they're gonna need support. And I just tried to choose the ones that I think will be a little bit easier to manage in a landscape setting. There's 1 apricot Alexis. There are 3 Mellow Moon, 2 Norton Vic. There are 5 Cream Jessie Habgood, and a few of them, ooh, like that's not looking the best, but we'll hope for the best. There's 3 of them that look really nice. 2 of them only have a single stem. And then there's just one called Gertrude. It's a beautiful pink. So now we can take these 4 things that we still have out here that we're gonna use in our landscape. We can organize them up against the high tunnel. We can get rid of all the pallets out here. We can get rid of all this and just clean this space up. And I see a shovel back here from way earlier this spring when we, or I guess maybe it wasn't way early, it feels way earlier, but remember when we came back here and popped all the blue spruce trees out of the big pots that we had lining the high tunnel here? I left this back here since then. Just been chilling. And it might be that we end up planting this rose in that pot somewhere. That would be fun. And Bethany usually likes to take these great big pots home. She uses these a lot. Oh, it feels good to clean out and organize, doesn't it? Okay, our next project are the onions. I need to run to the barn and get our baskets so that we are all prepped for that. I also need to grab a pop-up bag for all the tops. You can cut them right into a pop-up bag. Do I have like something hanging off of me? It's usually like cobwebs or a leaf or something. Pop these in Bethany's truck, check it out. Onions and potatoes from the root cellar. Heading toward the pigs. Here we go. All right, we've got our storage baskets. This is what I prefer to store them in. I just got these at my parents' garden center. I also use these bulb crates a lot. This is how our big orders of bulbs come. And the nice thing about these is that they have a lot of ventilation. I think that's the biggest thing. You want to make sure there's good airflow in whatever container you're storing your onions in. We've got our pop-up bag to put the tops in and the roots, and I've already done one. This is what I want them to look like going into storage. So I've come in, I cut the top off, I cut the roots off right here so that it looks nice and clean. And see what letting them sit to dry out does? all of that soil that you can see around the roots was completely wet when I pulled them out of the ground. We don't want to introduce any extra moisture into storage. So while I try to keep the skins around them as intact as possible, I do try to remove any loose soil. And I cut those roots and cut the top, which I have a hard time doing one-handed, to where it looks like this. And then I just pop them in our basket. So let's do one together. I'm gonna move my drink so it doesn't get dirt in it. You can see all the dirt around the roots there. So I just use my hands and just kind of knock it off, knock the dirt off of it as best I can. And then I take my pruners and cut those roots off. And then the top. It's perfect. I don't mind if there's a little soil on it. I'm going to be cutting the wrapper off anyway when I prep these for dinner. So it's awesome. So now I'm going to continue on, skipping the ones that still have any like green left in them. I want to make sure that they're thoroughly dried down like this. And I usually favor an assembly line approach. So I try to go through and do one step, like the same step over and over and over again. So it kind of helps clear a little working surface too. That's helpful. One other thing, I do have some small onions in here. Where's the other one? There's one real small one. Maybe this was it. Anyway, I try to make sure that these stay separate. I try to go through the little ones first. They don't store quite as long for me typically. I like to store kind of the same size of onions together. So like I'll pick all the big ones that I find and put them at the bottom and kind of work my way up size-wise. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't do the roots on these. Aaron just went by in the lawnmower. Whoop. Oh, there it is. That was pretty quick. And this is what we're looking at. We've got 4 storage baskets, 2 of which are full. We've got this one with our yellow sweet Spanish. Only 2 are ready for harvest. All the rest of them are still out in the garden. We've got 2 full baskets of candy onions, and there's just a small handful left out in the garden. I think I'll be able to pile those on top. So we'll have 2 baskets of candies. We'll probably end up with 2 baskets of Walla Wallas in the end as well. This is what we have so far. And then this is what we have left on the table. So this was kind of a second harvest of candies. And you can see, you know, there's still moisture in the stems. There's still green right here. I accidentally cut one of them, and you can kind of tell because let me grab one that's ready, like this one right here. This is a candy as well, but I'm taking this inside because see, this one got nicked by something. So I'll use this one first. We don't want to store anything that has any imperfections like that. But you can see like this one was ready. All of the stem is dry and papery. There's no moisture left in that. But when I cut this one, you can see there's still green and it will ooze out some liquid sometimes, which can make it stinky, but it also can introduce moisture that you don't want to introduce into storage. So you want to make sure that those tops dry all the way down. So I'm just going to leave that one out here. I kind of did the same thing with the Walla Wallas. I think I was just on autopilot and I just went through and started cutting them all. And these were all ones that still had green in their stems. And I got this deep in before I realized, oh, well, these probably need to sit out here for another day or two. Now that they have been cut, they'll dry out really fast. So I'll just make sure to grab them probably tomorrow or the next day and toss them in the basket. So I only ended up with 3 onions that I'll just take straight inside and use right away. See, this one's got like a little nick right there. You already saw that one. This one, did this one have a nick? I thought I saw, oh yeah, right there. Had just like a little blemish right there. So they just don't store as long. And this one, while there was no apparent blemishes or nicks, it just doesn't feel as firm as the rest. It doesn't have as nice of a papery skin that's developed. And while this onion will taste perfectly fine, I just don't think it would last long in storage. So we'll take those 4 inside. Now let's get these into the root cellar. I'm going to use one of these tonight. I'm making a teriyaki beef stir fry with peppers and onions and broccoli and some other things. It's perfect. Oh, whoops. That was not smooth. Okay, there they are. We've got our 2 baskets of candies. So we just put a couple of boards over the top of one basket, making sure that, you know, they're not sitting on top of any onions in here. And that way we can go too high. We'll use through this basket, then we'll use through this basket. And then I'll probably only have 1 basket worth, I'm guessing, maybe a little bit more. But I do know we'll have 2 baskets of Walla Wallas, possibly another basket. We'll see. Not very much in here right now. We've got our scale. When I want to weigh something, weigh some of the harvest. We've got some garlic in here and just some random storage baskets and harvest baskets that I use from. And this is our little itty bitty floor heater right here. We use this in the winter time just to keep the edge off in here because while this room is cooled in the summertime, like it feels so good in here right now, it's not heated. So we don't heat it in the winter time. We want it to be cool, but we don't want it to freeze. So when it gets like real close to 0 or below 0, like it would freeze in here. So we keep that to where it'll kick on if it gets close to freezing. So it'll just take the edge off and that way it keeps it nicer in here. And we also have a dehumidifier running to pull any excess moisture from the air. That's the one thing that we haven't really figured out a super great balance on humidity. We usually keep it right around 60 to 70, but we've had times where it's shot way up, like when we add a bunch of new stuff in here like dahlia tubers and potatoes, and all of a sudden like the moisture content in the air goes way up. So this is helpful to have that in here. We also keep our little storage conditions chart right up here. So 32 to 50 degrees is best for garlic and onions at 60 to 70% relative humidity, while potatoes want 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit and 60 to 70%. So 60 to 70% humidity for both of those, but the potatoes want it a little bit warmer than the onions, kind of on the warmer side. So we try to find a happy medium, and then it gives like a bunch of different temperatures for different things and how long to expect them to store. I'll try to get a good picture of that so you can see it a little clearer. This camera's not very good at close-ups. And as we speak, Paul has hooked the trailer up and he's going to load up those blueberry tubs for us so we can get those down to Andrews. And then once we get back, we'll tackle planting the mums. Okay, so we're not all the way done with our projects today, but my goal back here has been accomplished. The blueberry beds are up on the trailer. That's where we're gonna head next. Look at this space. Oh, I just love seeing things a little bit more tidy. Christy is gonna be here tomorrow to pick up all of these mums, so those will all be gone. I'll probably tuck that planter up closer to the rows. We may even plant it here in the next couple of days if we find just the perfect spot to put it. But I love seeing this stuff right here. And all of this stuff will be planted in not too long. And then in here, I was able to use some of the little plant stands that the mums were in to hold up some of these hydrangeas that keep blowing over in the wind. Our onions have been gone through, all of those extra flats, everything has been cleaned up. I'll do a full rake of this area once we're done with all of our onions. It's not really worth it to do it right now. And in this space, it doesn't look a whole lot different, except for I did cut back the Baptisia. And there were some trays underneath the table in the back, and there were trays underneath here that are gone now. Oh, doesn't that just feel so great? All right, let's gather ourselves together here and head down to Andrews. Look who's here to greet me. What are you saying?
Where are those babies?
Oh, they're not here. I figured that I didn't know if you guys were going to be hopping, and so I was like, if I need to get on a forklift, I don't want to have to worry about them.
Pull up there by Corey's.
Okay.
And then I'll unload them right there.
Perfect.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yep, it's still on there. Whew. Service with a smile.
I'm gonna have to get the pallet puller, I think.
What, do you want me to go get it?
I don't know where it's at. I can unload this one and I can unload that side one, but that one in the middle, I think I'm gonna have to pull it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Okay.
You got the skills, Mom.
I'm on an uneven surface. This is not good.
Oh, it's true. Do you want me to pull somewhere else?
No.
And the front board's broken, so you're gonna have to go a little further.
Tell me when I'm gonna hit the back of your trailer.
You got a little bit. You got like 6 inches, 4 inches, 3, 2. Yeah, I think you could drag it a little bit. Oh yeah, you got it. What a dilapidated old pallet.
I'd say, but you know what? We've got this.
That's right. Nice. I somehow have one of your lids too. It must have been under a load that I just loaded up the pallet.
Yeah.
So I brought that. I know lids come at a premium around here. You got that one. Look at that. Nice.
Oh, Laura, there's strawberries in them.
There are strawberries.
Oh.
They're not seascapes though.
It doesn't matter. Everybody's gonna love them.
Well, hopefully.
Blueberries started.
Well, the blueberries they're a little sketch. They need some love. A lot of love.
You can do that.
Okay. Oh, I gotta look out. Mom means business. You know, our purple robe locust is blooming again. Is that abnormal?
Yeah.
Is it stressed? A little further in if you can. This one's heavy. You can keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, but stop.
What's that?
The pallet. You're under a board. You know what? I think we're gonna have to push it. I think I need to pull forward and we need to get on this side, or we can pick it up from the other side. if I pull forward. Yep. This one's extra heavy. A little strawberry. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so we got this thing. Pallet puller thing. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, we're just gonna hook to the forklift and drag this pallet forward. I'm gonna have to plug my ear. Oh, not too bad.
You're doing great. Just keep going.
That was a handy tool.
Well, he's a handy guy.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, Mom. You're not low enough. Oh,
Oh,
there we go.
I need to look fly.
Keep going. You got 5 inches. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's good. You got it. Those Aronias are great.
Yeah.
You should have some of those.
Aren't those pretty?
Yeah, I
What do
planted.
they like?
They are. They like sun. We have them by our pond, and they color up beautifully in the fall. Bright red. And that one's a low one.
Yeah. They maybe look good on the top of our rock wall. Would they grow down it?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know that they grow down it. They're not like.
Like a sumac.
No, they don't grow super wide. You might need to just.
I'm worried about hitting your trailer.
Yeah, you're about at capacity right there. Oh yeah, wait, set it down. Taking off like a shot there.
Well, I have to get it run to drag it.
There you go. You got it.
Okay,
That's the big one.
that's it.
Woo! My goodness. Okay, I'm gonna grab this lid and carry it back. Okay, the blueberries have landed and they'll work on finding spots for them. And this sticker has been on there since, well, the beginning. I got a lot of sass about that sticker. Now it's not my problem anymore.
What was the sticker?
The sticker said whatever brand these are
Oh, really?
on it. Yeah, it just never bothered me that it was on there.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just let it stay.
Until
know.
they just like wore off.
Yeah. Or until I bring them down here.
Well, the rest of that'll stay on there for a long
Probably.
time. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna make a quick spin through and see if there's anything that
Yes.
I need to have. Oh, look at this 5 trunk birch. Now that is pretty. That is a heritage river birch. We've got heritage birch. Oh, I love that. These Perotias. What is this? Beech? Perotia? American beech. That's pretty. Like the structure of that. You know what? Last time we were here, we found some great stuff in here. It's way thinned down. In fact, Mom said she spent time in here this morning just like grooming things, and it's so hot in here. They try not to keep very much in here. Got a couple of those Princess Nadia Ajuga left. Oh, like a moth to a flame right here. Hardy geraniums. But see how beautiful they are? I need some of these behind the pond area. Yep, I'm gonna grab a cart. Blue Sunrise, Tiny Monster Geranium. I think I like this one the best. Oh gosh, that's a pretty cedar. Pale and blue Deodore cedar. Doesn't that have a really neat shape to it? Ooh, and a pink chiffon standard Rosa Sharon. You know what? I think I'm just gonna keep it at this one variety. We have plenty at home to do. I think this would be good. Besides, I should probably get home and get those chrysanthemums in the ground. Okay, we are back home. The breeze is starting to pick up a little bit, and I don't know if it is supposed to get fairly windy tonight. It is cooler tomorrow. Our high tomorrow, I think, is 83 or 84. Feels good out here. We're gonna start with mum planting on the west side with our Gertrude because we've only got one of those. I can tuck it in over here and it's within the right color scheme. I'm trying to stick with, you know, pinks, purples, white kind of bloom color over here, right here. Now, these heirloom mum plants, I had initially planned on planting them in the high tunnel in a raised bed sort of situation. We were gonna have built in there and then we decided not to do that because we weren't sure if we were gonna keep the high tunnels right there, right in here. Ugh. And the reason I had wanted to plant them in the high tunnel is I thought, well, one, it would be fun to be able to extend their bloom season. If we have them under protection, not heated, but under a protected covering, they would bloom further into the season. And we had them blooming late. Like, at what point were they still blooming in the high tunnel? I know I showed them several times through the winter, like into December. It was crazy. And I know having them out in the landscape, they won't bloom quite as long. They will succumb to the cold a lot quicker. They also tend to get on the taller side. Now, I don't know for each one of these varieties specifically how tall they get, and we can pinch them. So we can come in June and cut them back by about half, and that will help size control them. But I'm just gonna tuck them into flower beds and hope for the best. I do have one clump of heirloom mums up toward our Persephone garden that were here when we moved in. And they're beautiful, big, white, spidery looking blooms that come on really late in the season. And they have stayed there the whole time we've been here. So I'm hopeful that all of these will be okay in our winter. Anyway, I know they'll be much better off in the ground than in their containers like they are right now. So I'm gonna pop the Gertrude right here. We've got some roses. These are the Lickfield Angel roses. We've got a Beyond Midnight Caryopteris, which is just about ready to burst into bloom. Our other ones out in the south garden that are in full sun are already in bloom. You can see that because this one doesn't get as much sun, it's a little bit behind. We've got a ground cover thyme. There's some, oh, is this pink or purple? I want to say this is a pink Veronica right in here. Anyway, I think it'll be just perfect tucked right in there. So let's plant it. I suppose I could go in with one of our creamy colored ones too in this area. We'll just start with this one here and then kind of mosey around the south garden. Okay, what are the odds? There's a drip line right here. Pretty high, I would say. Yep, there it is. Fertilizer. All right, Gertrude, you're gonna look really good right here. I think we're gonna get some flowers on this one later on. That looks really good right there. She fits in beautifully. Okay, these are a variety called Cream Jessie Habgood. These are the ones that have the really big, creamy, beautiful, like latte almost, creamy white blooms. And they get really quite tall. And we've got this ironweed in here, which is a new to me variety. And they have really beautiful purple blooms that bloom really late in the season. So if we have, well, the interest of this gorgeous quickfire fab hydrangea, which they'll get 6 to 8 feet tall and wide. And then we have a mixture of the purple ironweed with the mum right here. I think that's gonna be a glorious blend. I just kind of want them to all intermix and intermingle together. And when we tuck them back in the flower bed like this, they can get as tall as they want. Oh, I think those are going to be beautiful. I hope their stems survive our wind. They have been outside the high tunnels, so they are used to it. Okay, we've got 5 more varieties. Oh, and I don't think I went over the stats of the Azure Rush. I'm not going to plant these today, but these are hardy to zone 5, 12 to 18 inches tall, and 2 to 2.5 feet wide. And they just have this color pretty much all season long. I love them. Okay, this is Mellow Moon. This one has a flower on it. See how pretty that is? These are only supposed to get upwards of 2 feet tall by 2 feet wide. So I think I would like to just pop them all right in here. We recently took out a little shrub that wasn't thriving right here. And I think these would be a really pretty sort of situation. Now I am going to keep a little space right here. These are honeyberries and they're actually very productive shrubs. They produce a lot of honeyberries. So I usually like to have something that I can get in around, like something that's still soft. So anywho, it looks like this spot has plenty of moisture and spurge. Lots of spurge. My goodness. Got a field of spurge over here. I think I would like it better like this. Like this. Pop an ornamental grass right in there. I broke the bloom off. Sad. Those tucked in beautifully right there, and they're still going to allow us space to get in and around the honeyberries. And then I was thinking, as I was planting right in here, putting a tall ornamental grass, like something like a totem pole even, right here that stays more narrow and gets real tall. That would be a beautiful texture right there. And color. They're kind of an icy blue. Hang on. Hang on. Oh, don't mind if I do. Oh, those are peak ripeness. Look at this. These are the Triple Crown, you guys. They're the best. So many. You know what? I think the single that I have, I've got an Apricot Alexis right here, and I just have the one. I'm gonna put it right here. Boom. That works out perfectly. I need to get some mulch in here. Haven't mulched all year in this space. I think I'd like to tuck some in right here. Maybe the Fairweather salmon or salmon Fairweather. I can't remember which way it goes, but that would be really pretty. Don't those look beautiful tucked in over there? And this is the space at the end of the South Garden Loop. Look at the gorgeous Limelight Primes with the Supertunia Bordeaux, my word. But this is where the pathway is going to lead in. So it's going to come in about here and go this direction. So it's kind of fitting to have taller stuff and start working our way down. I had half a mind to come in with those geraniums right in this space and underplant these flavorette paired roses, as well as like kind of swing in front of those with the geraniums. I think that would be beautiful. Oh, that makes me so excited. It's gonna just provide some super late color back in here. Oh, the breeze kind of stopped and I'm wishing it was still blowing out here. I'm gonna have to turn my fan on. We have 3 varieties left. Okay, we didn't go too far. Thinking right back in here with the chiffons, possibly, maybe Norton Vic. Let me look those back up. Oh, maybe peach centerpiece. So many good options. Yep, we're going with peach centerpiece. These are only supposed to get, again, not quite as tall as some of the other ones. I think I just like them all tucked in back here to kind of intermingle, and I think they would provide some nice different color in here. Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to be careful here. Planting. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of curved through the back part of this bed. I'm loving it. We've got 2 varieties left. We've got 3 of the chiffon and 2 Norton Vic. Chiffons need to go right in here. It's the perfect spot for them. The chiffon tucked in right below the Rise Up Amernest roses. There's some hardy geraniums in front, Procumbens blue spruce, really pretty little spot. Last 2 right here, Norton Vic. What if we popped those Norton Vics right back here so they could come up above the Heliopsis, and they're kind of like a burgundy color, so they'd look really good with these, I think. Let's do it. These we can let get really tall back here. We might have to stake them, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, all done. Oh, I think those are going to be beautiful back there, and there's just enough space. We did a rejuvenation prune on this ginger wine 9 bark, and it did come back quite nicely, so we'll see what happens there. But even if it grows to its full size, these still have space to kind of pop through right here. We've got an Eastern Redbud that I planted it was the first year we had this space kind of cultivated, I guess. I don't even know if you can call it cultivated. For those of you who remember what this was like not that long ago, it's pretty nuts how it looked. But the first year that we were able to plant, like after we got all the infrastructure done, I dug this tree out from not very far away. It was kind of right where the salvia are. I dug that out and moved it to this location. It was a really hard project. Redbuds are not easy to dig out. So anyway, I'm thankful that it's still here thriving, but it's growing very slow. I feel like it's slow. So anyway, I feel like we'll have a long time with these mums before this will provide any kind of shade for it. Oh, here come the kids. They're running. Look what the wind did. I've been messing with the boxwoods up there, trying out different configurations. Wind keeps knocking them over, which probably means I should just make up my mind. Do something up there. But anyway, guys, I think that was like 25, 27, somewhere around in there. Mums, we just got in the ground, which is awesome. Super happy to have that done. And the other ones are gonna be gone tomorrow. So they will go, they will be planted as well. And that also just, oh, that makes me feel relief in a way. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Sometimes we just have to do those housekeeping / maintenance sort of things, and it feels so good in the end to get those things done. It kind of I don't know, it just makes me feel motivated. Oh, the sun's going behind a cloud for just a little bit. Isn't the sky beautiful today? Look at that. Look at those clouds and that bright blue. Gosh. Anyway, it also gives me a chance to look at what I still have out there. I mean, I look at it all the time, but when you actually spend time in this space and you can really look at it and really think about it, then I start getting ideas of where I want things to go. It's kind of like that when I'm organizing one of our closets, like craft supply closets. I mean, many of us that have craft supply closets, we forget what we have. So we get in there and then all of a sudden I see all this yarn in my stash. I think, oh, I want to make this and this and this and this. It just kind of re-energizes me to do that. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.